With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dredd to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dredd Show.
Funny thing about that Breonna Taylor case is two things. Like Lionel Rel said, Relno, big shout out to Lionel Relno, big supporter of the show. Appreciate you for watching all my content. Big shout out to Lenny23, Daisy Girl, everybody who's in the building, V Radio. Support both of our shows. Appreciate you guys. But the funny thing about Breonna Taylor is two things. Not to go deep into the weeds because we can end up talking about that for the next hour. Number one, the boyfriend shot through the door first. All right. First of all, number one, they had a valid no-knock warrant. Now, there was some corruption involved with getting those warrants that needs to be spoken about. All right.
I agree with that.
But on a later show, but we have to acknowledge that because we have to acknowledge when the police do right and we have to acknowledge when the police do wrong. But according to the law, it was a lawful warrant because a judge swore it out. Now, if there's corruption in how the officer presented that evidence to a judge to get the warrant, you deal with that separately. And we see that happening. They file charges against those folks. But they had a lawful no-knock warrant, which they did not use. They knocked on the door. And neighbors have attested to the fact that the cops didn't just break the door down. They knocked on the door and said police. Number two, Kenneth Walker shot through the door first. Wounding Sergeant Mattingly, who's the supervisor on that team. And number three, when they took Kenneth Walker outside and they're asking him what happened, Kenneth Walker said that Breonna Taylor was the one that shot through the door and shot the sergeant. And nobody to this day ever talks about that, even though it's on body camera, and I've played it on my show 1,000 times, and that's why I don't have anything more than 7,000 and change subscribers.
See, I didn't know anything about that.
I didn't either. I didn't know all that.
Well, so I knew most of that. The only thing that I remember hearing where I was like, yeah, that cop was completely out of line because wasn't one of them outside just firing blind through like windows and stuff, which was completely like
he was acquitted. He was acquitted, and he's returning fire. He doesn't know where the fire is coming from. This happens all the time. I could play you 1,000 videos of people having gunfights on the street. You trying to survive. It's called collateral damage.
I'm even wrong on that one. Like, so like with the Breonna Taylor thing, I said at worst, and this is one thing I think a lot of people don't think of is like, you don't necessarily have to take sides, right? Like the cops were acted a fool. The cops responded in a way that wasn't great and you had bad results. And what did you expect?
I don't even think they acted bad, to be honest with you. I think it was unfortunate that she died, and no way am I saying that she deserved to die. I think we have to acknowledge the fact that Breonna Taylor was involved with bad people. We have to acknowledge that a dead person was found in a car that she rented for her kingpin drug dealing boyfriend. We have to understand this guy wasn't just a drug dealer. He was a kingpin. This is an actual term. It was a kingpin drug dealer cartel. Not only was he selling drugs in that community, but he was trafficking guns all up and down the East Coast. So there's tons of people who have died off of the guns that his crew has sold to other crews across our nation. Now, she was his girlfriend. She was holding his money. There are audio conversations that she had with this guy while he was in prison where he's telling her what to do with the money, bail people out. Do you have my stash? All that stuff. She's renting cars for him. She's letting him borrow her car where he's shuffling drugs around to the different safe houses. One of his boys, who they presume maybe crossed him wrong or something, it's never been proven, was actually found dead in a car with a rental receipt has Breonna Taylor's name on it, and he's in the trunk. So this girl was involved with bad boys. Kenneth Walker was caught on jailhouse calls talking about robbing people, that he was getting ready to rob somebody. He needed to, galvanize a crew to go take care of that. These were bad people. These are really bad people that she was caught up in. And because of her connection with this guy, that's why the cop went to her house. If she was just a nice girl who was, working in a medical office and all this crap they tried to sell us, she would never have had her house raided. And she decided to sleep with a guy that's going to shoot through a door without ignoring the fact that the police said police at the door. How do we know that? Because the neighbors who don't like cops probably said, yeah, I don't like cops, but I did hear them say police.
And they did knock. And they always say they did knock. Right.
And they kept saying they did not. They constantly ignore what witnesses say because it does not go with the narrative. They ignore the fact that he said, I was scared. She shot through the door. Why she shoot through the door? She was scared. I don't know. So you saying she's the one who shot? Yes, she shot through the door. How do I know it verbatim? Because I watched the video 1,000 times because it bewilders me that people don't acknowledge that this is what their savior, Kenneth Walker, who was like glorified as a hero, this is what he did to that girl's dead, to her dead name. That's how he dishonored her death.
Residue on his hands at this point? Wouldn't there be gunshot residue on her hands?
He didn't give a damn. He's a filthy thug. Because he worked for the post office, we have to believe he's an honest person. There are cops who are filthy thugs. There are doctors who are filthy thugs. One doctor raped almost every single gymnast in America. It doesn't matter what you do as a day job. It doesn't have nothing to do with your character.
Nope. Now, would there be gunshot residue on her hands or on his hands from firing the weapon?
Yes, you would get the residue on his hands, his clothing, etc. She absolutely did not shoot. That was a lie.
Right.
There's no way in hell that it happened. He didn't take the fall for her later because he's a gentleman. No, he blamed her because he's a coward.
Right.
And that's why it's a little known secret that Breonna Taylor's family actually hates that guy. They actually hate him.
Well, I should mention that I gave the thumbs up when I saw that Neil was sharing the stream right at the moment when you said, and Breonna Taylor died, and I went like this. No, I wasn't.
That honestly, that case has caused like a lot of issues, like for Kentucky, just mainly Kentucky, well, the whole U.S., but. I just remember like when the mass shooting happened at the bank a couple months back, I was looking under Bashir's threads and like there was some nasty comments towards that hero police officer that shot the mass shooter that got his head shot. Like he got shot in the head and they were wishing all the police to die and stuff like that. That was mean. And I was reporting some of those comments because you should never say that about the police because they went in there and gave their life to get rid of that mass shooter. What are you thinking?
People are weirdos, man.
Writing into these stories, and it's not harmless.
Oh, absolutely not.
And by the way,
the manifesto. Wait till you see the manifesto on this chick that shot up that school. I only read part of it. She had some severe issues, and people knew about it, and absolutely nothing was done.
I think that's a little bit of propaganda right now, the way it's being released. I think she hated everybody.
Oh, I'm not saying she did, but she did go to that school, right?
She did.
She hated the world,
and because they're trying to like make it seem like.
Well, I hope you found that profound. And I am sure that you might disagree with some of the things he said. Again, he has his own channel called The Strategic Guy Show. I encourage you to go over there, subscribe to his channel, and like his videos. Also, how about liking this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so?